Alright guys, let's talk about what a brand actually is. Okay, so people get this idea kind of mixed up. They think that a brand is a logo. Okay, well it's not. A brand is not a logo. A logo is a logo, but a brand is not a logo. Okay, what a brand is the essence or promise of what will be delivered or experienced. And I borrowed that quote. In other words, in better terms, so you can understand it, is in a brand is your company's commitment and identity, for lack of a better term, personality. Okay, and so let's look at a couple brands here. So the Canadian Red Cross. I'm Canadian, so I'm using the Canadian Red Cross. You can use the American Red Cross for your example. Okay, so the Canadian Red Cross, what do they represent? What is their identity? Okay, to me, their identity is they're a volunteering organization. They raise money to help people that are less fortunate. They're people-loving, and they're heroes. They go and help people that are hurt and injured and try to make their lives better or try to save their lives in a lot of cases. Okay? Or look at Apple. They're innovative. They're beautiful and creative. They're a solid product that lasts a long time. I've had my Apple computer for 2.5 years, and it's only just starting to slow down. It could be because of everything that I'm doing with it right now, but that's the product. It's a solid product, and everyone that buys an Apple knows that. Okay? Let's look at another brand that's run into trouble. Okay, so Blackberry. Blackberry was known to be for the hard workers, the business types. It was a status symbol of money, and basically every business owner or businessman needed to have a Blackberry because it was just all about business and making money. That's what Blackberry represented. And now, because of how fast Samsung and Androids and Apple have sped up their process with smartphones, their apps, and those types of things, Blackberry, this huge king of smartphones, now is known to have limited applications, is not dependable. It's way weaker of a smartphone than other smartphones because of the reputation that they now have. They had a lot of problems with their servers, and their servers went down a few times at the end when their stocks were going down and stuff like that. And people don't buy Blackberry anymore as often. They used to be everyone had a Blackberry. But now, because of the way their brand is represented or perceived, they now don't have as strong of a brand, and people don't buy that brand because of how they're perceived. They actually changed their name. They used to be RIM, Research in Motion. And they felt that if they changed just to their brand name, Blackberry, then maybe that they could improve their brand. Well, unfortunately, it was Blackberry's brand that got hit. It wasn't Research in Motion. It was Blackberry. So they probably would have been better off changing it from Blackberry, starting from the beginning. I know that's scary, but sometimes you get hard. Sometimes life gets tough, and you need to start over. And that's what Blackberry's trying to do and trying to get back in the game. But it's taking time. But now you can see kind of how brands can be perceived. Okay, so it's important to ask yourself, how do you want your brand to be perceived? Okay, and commit to that. Commit to it. Because if you don't commit to it, and you just kind of have a half-assed commitment to what your brand represents, you're not going to develop these massive followings. You're not going to develop people that know who you are because of what you represent. So it's important to commit to how do you want to be perceived, or how you want your brand to be perceived. When they look at your logo, and these are the people that know you, that have seen your logo, that know your brand, you want to know that they perceive you as an awesome company or an awesome brand that does everything, okay, that you've committed to. I can't stress how important that is. And you can see that in the examples that I've given you, such as Blackberry, and how now they've kind of fallen off because they lost sight of what their brand was supposed to represent, and they couldn't keep up. Okay, hopefully this was a good introduction to branding and how important it is to make sure that your brand is perceived. And I want you to be thinking about this. I want you to actually write it down. There's a PDF that I want you to download, print off, write it down. How do you want your brand to be perceived? Because that's the number one question you should be asking, so that way you can start building a reputation, building a personality that people want to be represented by. If you have any questions, please email me or post them on the Facebook group, and we'll chat about them. Thanks, guys.